First time I saw myself, there was like a distance. You know, normally you see yourself in the mirror and you're like, oh yeah, that's me. But the first time I saw myself, it was jarring. It's almost like, you know, you're seeing a different person in the mirror.
How are you, David?
I'm good.
I gotta tell you, I had to watch some silly cartoons after Hellboy screening, so thank you for the nightmares.
Yeah.
They're
You're
really
welcome.
good.
It was my pleasure.
So after decades of an acting career and jumping from character to character, and although they were interesting, they were smaller roles, how do you feel the transition of just doing a character? Has it hit you that you did Hellboy as center of frame, you know?
Yeah, I don't know if it's hit me. That's a good question. I mean, yeah, it was a huge undertaking. I mean, I think the thing that is most profound was just like the amount of work that I didn't even realize, you know. I sort of have viewed it from the side of a supporting player or from the side of an audience member, and then you step in there and you're like, you know, it's a tremendous amount of work. You're shooting like every day and in makeup 3 hours a day for 4 months and doing lots of stunts and stuff. It can be very tiring. So it was a tremendous amount of work. But again, I'm grateful to do it because I love doing it. So.
But talking about that, you hear these anecdotes about the makeup sessions, and I think Jim Carrey doing The Grinch, he said that it was a mental torture.
Yeah,
How was it for you?
Yeah, I didn't have his experience. It was funny. We talked about his experience on set too, because I know that he had a really hard time with it. And other friends of mine in the business have done stuff, and they've had hard times with it as well. Mine was actually quite wonderful. I mean, I did have one day where we were about 30 applications in, and we had like 35 to go, where I did have a little bit of a breakdown. They had to talk me off the ledge, but but in general, I actually found it quite liberating, and I actually found it quite a wonderful thing to have this like entirely new creature that wasn't me, and it like liberated me in a way that I felt was wonderful.
Did you jump into the character once you saw yourself in the mirror?
Well,
do something
no, I had to do a little work, but but yeah, like the first time I saw myself, there was like a distance. You know, normally you see yourself in the mirror and you're like, oh yeah, that's me. But the first time I saw myself, it was jarring. It's almost like, you know, you're seeing a different person in the mirror. And it was so detailed. The makeup is so extraordinary that I couldn't see any seams. I couldn't see where it ended or began.
And how was the right hand of Doom? Were you able to scratch or
that's really
have
hard
a dream?
That's really hard to. It actually, the fingers were extended beyond the hand, so they had to be puppeteered. So it wasn't like a hand where you could really like grab onto something or use it. It was, so that was actually hard. So I felt like I had one hand, and that was about it.
So talking about the character, I think this character is so complex, and it's a villain in nature. So
yeah, sort of,
what type of, you know, what part of this torture existence attracted you the most from this character?
I mean, I think for me, what attracted me the most is the idea of like an identity struggle of someone who has an imperative to do something, like the imperative being to end the world, right? Like we all have sort of things in our nature, imperatives, like, you know, you want to smoke cigarettes and you just want it so bad, but there's a piece of you that goes like, no, don't smoke cigarettes, you'll mess yourself up. And I think that the struggle between those two things, like the devil and the angel on your shoulder, I guess, or our natures, like what is our true nature, was really what appealed to me about him the most. And also, like, I find him just a beautiful guy, like, you know, a creature that is the devil but shaves his horns so that, because he's embarrassed by them. Like, I find that just so touching as a behavioral thing.
That's true. That's true. So you would call it a character piece? You know, that is just these demons trying to find a place in society?
Exactly. I mean, it's a big old monster movie, so there's like so much action and like crazy and gore and all that stuff, but at its essence, I do think it's an identity, almost a coming of age story. Like, he is a boy. He's Hellboy. And he's sort of needs to learn what kind of man he's going to be.
All right. Thank you so much.
Cool.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thanks very much.